Hello and welcome to Public Conscience, the anti-corruption program produced by the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development, PRIMOG. I am Adaobi Obiabumo with my colleague Chidozie Ogbonnaya.
Watch us on our live stream on Facebook at Official Primorg if it is convenient for you. The spelling of Primorg is Primorg.
On Public Conscience, we seek to evolve a corruption-free society by drawing government and citizens' attention to corruption reports and issues for prompt democratic actions against them. We also promote integrity by amplifying rare cases of the display of honesty by public and private individuals. We appreciate the MacArthur Foundation for supporting the production of this program.
The focus of today's program is on the need to urgently stem the tide of human trafficking in Nigeria, which is a violent crime against humanity and a social evil. A recent investigation by the Human Angle media exposed how many Nigerians trafficked to Egypt are inhumanly treated, engaged in forced labor, and live in palpable fear because they are illegal immigrants. In some cases, victims of trafficking are forced into prostitution, extorted, and exploited by their sponsors.
Human trafficking is a global problem, with more than 27 million people affected, according to United States 2023 trafficking report. Last week, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission (NIDCOM) reported that 58 Nigerian women and children were rescued from human traffickers in Ghana, bringing the total to 105 in 3 months. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTI, was established to prevent, suppress, and punish traffickers in persons, especially women and children.
Sadly, despite the efforts by the government, fighting human trafficking in Nigeria remains a significant challenge due to various factors such as corruption, weak law enforcement, and limited resources. The 2023 Global Slavery Index estimates that on any given day, there were 1.6 million individuals living in modern slavery in Nigeria.
Today's program seeks to draw the attention of government and its agencies to the urgent need to clamp down on the trafficking of Nigerians. The citizens must also get involved in this noble cause. The questions begging for answers are: how can Nigeria as a country stop this barbaric act? Is the government and its agencies doing enough to curb trafficking in Nigeria? Is corruption a limiting factor in Nigeria's fight against human trafficking?
Be ready to join us through phone and text messages during this conversation. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message is 090-2265-6167, and that is 090-2265-6167. Please indicate your name and your location when sending your message. This number is for messages only.
The numbers again to send your messages to is 0902-265-6167. The numbers for call will be given out shortly.
And if you just joined us, the focus is on a report on how traffickers lure Nigerians into modern slavery in Egypt. We will also discuss a Freedom of Information (FOI) platform created by Human Angle Media to help facilitate citizens requesting information from government agencies.
For joining us with more on the investigative report exposing how Nigerians are trafficked to Egypt via the phone
is Kabir Adejomo,
editor, Southern Operations. Pardon me there, but in the studio we have Angela Omoro David, the project manager. Thank you for being here, Angela.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We also have with us Mrs. Kehinde Akomolafe, Director of Public Enlightenment at the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much for having me.
But let's start off first with Kabir Adejomo, who joins us via the phone. Hello, Kabir. How are you today?
I'm very fine. Good morning. It's good to be here.
Okay, let's have you give us the overview of your investigation and why your organization deemed this investigation necessary.
Okay, so thank you very much once again. Sometimes in January or thereabout, we got a call from somebody through our investigations editor that he had a relative who was trafficked to Cairo, and the person had been in pain, was the kind of work that NAFTA have been doing, alerting people and continue to inform people about how, people are being trafficked from, their country, people who are in search of greener pastures, and, and we felt like, we must look at this form of modern slavery, and it was basically our own motivation because, and again, majorly, one of those things that also triggered the report was that we had that, the Egyptian government are arresting illegal migrants, and, they have been forced to pay for overstay, and some of the Nigerians who have been arrested at the time were locked in detention. So we got pictures of people who have been arrested and were locked in detention, and we felt like, the best we could do is to ensure that, we bring these people back. I remember in 2019, Julie Hawker Donley, that was the former Director General of NAFTA, said mostly this traffic to Cairo are forced to work 20 hours for months without adequate pay. So in our conversation with all of this, we realized that it correlates or it corresponds with the account given to us, that the NAFTA has released, and we felt like, the best we can do
So
is
if,
just to step in the DM.
all right, Kabir, during your interaction with the victims, did they willingly travel to Egypt or were they forced?
Yeah, so they were lawyers. So the thing is this, for if people, they were willingly, it was a willing thing, but the narrative was a different thing. It's just for me coming to you to say, there's an opportunity for you in Cairo where you can make money. We understand Nigeria is hard and thereabouts. And on getting there, and these people had sincere questions that, okay, what are we going to be doing? And they told them that truly they will be working as domestic workers in Cairo. So they have some of these questions. But the people who traffic them, they do this in their own business. So they never told them they were going to bring them in. All they told them was just get your international passports. We are going to ensure how you get to Egypt.
So they were not aware of the conditions. Is that what you're saying? The working conditions.
Aware of the conditions. So when they got there, it was then they realized that, in fact, they told them the work would be so flexible, only for them to get there that, they will have to work. In fact, somebody told me she worked from 5 a.m., then worked to 3 a.m. the next morning, then sleep for 2 or 3 hours, then
Okay.
back again.
Okay, Kabir.
So many of these people did not know.
Kabir, apparently, from what you are how you are describing it, it is obvious that they were deceived.
They were deceived.
Yes. So, but since this report came out, what has been the reaction from the relevant authorities, the NAPTIP and the NICOM? Are they aware of your report, and has there been any known action?
Very fantastic. So what we do at Human Angle is that when we write reports, we don't just sit back and expect a miracle to happen. So one of those things we did was to do a policy brief and also wrote to NAFTIP. We wrote the letter to NAFTIP, which was submitted by, because I'm in Lagos here, it was submitted by our managing editor and investigation editor, Howard Shafi and, Koya Adibaju respectively. So some days after we published, we submitted our report. NAFTIP reached out to us, and when NAFTIP reached out to us, they asked for the contact of these persons, including their relatives that we have been able to, interview and to be sure that all we're saying were factual. And when they confirmed it, I can say that one of these persons, one of the victims, had returned to Nigeria. They are on the other two because we spoke with 3 victims. One is back to Nigeria. The other person told me, we still spoke over the weekend, told me she was with the IO because they also got a call that NAFTIP had forwarded, had sent their names and details to IOM and showed that they got to Nigeria embassy in Cairo. So he called me that she had a meeting with the IOMs about 2 weeks ago. In fact, that they are trying to retrieve our passports.
Okay. It's good to know that there are reactions coming from the agency. Thank you so much, Kabir Adejamo, editor, Southern Operations, Human Angle Media. Thank you for being a part of today's program.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, if you just joined in, you're on to Public Conscience, a production of Primal, the Progressive Impact Organization for Community Development. When we're looking at the scourge of trafficking in Nigeria, we have in the studio again with us Mrs. Kehinde Akombolafe, Director of Public Enlightenment. Thank you for being a part of today's program once again.
Thank you so much.
While Kabir was explaining there, you were smiling and jolting. Let's
I
have
was
your
happy.
reaction.
First, let me say that I'm proud to work with NAPTIP. I can't be surprised at the swift reaction of the agency in securing the return of one of the victims. It's one very wonderful thing that we are known to do, and I'm happy about it. Now, let me also say that what Mr. Kabir said is just a tip of the iceberg. So many victims travel to seemingly abroad, knowingly. The willingness is there at the initial time, and however, they don't know what they will be expected to do when they get there. And that's where deception comes in. There is no one that is willing to travel abroad. When I say abroad, even if it is Togo, if it is Benin Republic, it's still outside the shores of the country, which is one thing that you find with human trafficking is either internal or external. So irrespective of wherever they are willing to go because they feel, oh, it's my right, and there's nothing wrong in me going to seek for greener pastures. However, they wouldn't know that they will be subjected to torture. Their fundamental human rights is denied them. They are made to work endlessly. Sometimes even despite the work they do, they are sexually abused. So the willingness actually becomes irrelevant when the element of deception is there, which is one of the means used by traffickers to get their victims. There is no one that you will tell, oh, this is the condition for taking you abroad, that would actually be happy to hear that and will surrender him or herself to going there. So this is like a wake-up call for everyone, not just government bodies, but everyone, parents, guardians, brothers, sisters, state and non-state actors, to come and let people know the dangers inherent in human trafficking, both to the nation and to individuals concerned.
As we're speaking here, I'm very positive that someone somewhere is being deceived at the moment.
I tell you.
Being promised heaven on earth, and once you travel, XYZ would happen. But from the reports, it did. Kabir mentioned that when the victims traveled, got to the country, their passports were retrieved. So they couldn't. There was no avenue for them to go back, having realized the harsh condition they were supposed to work in. Is there any form of sensitization or information that people should be aware of, or are there contacts that once you travel and you realize that these are the conditions that you would work in, is there anybody that they could reach out to?
Thank you for that question. Actually, so many times it's a normal thing. These are this one of the means for trafficking. They would lure you and deceive you. The first thing a trafficker does, or the agent over there does, is to retrieve their travel documents. So you cannot even say you're coming back, because there's nowhere you go to that you won't need your passport. So they'll collect the passport from them and make them to sign contracts. Sometimes they sign this contract agreement before leaving Nigeria. Sometimes they get there, they sign it, and you are bound. What you were not told before you left Nigeria will be staring you in the face once you get there. So it becomes like, oh, now I'm here. You can't even have access to your phone or to anybody. So those that have actually been opportuned or privileged to call might have done that after they ran away from these taskmasters. they will lock them up. If you make any noise, they even report you to authorities over there. So NAPTIP is aware of all these ploys, and that's why we let people know.
Okay.
Our enlightenment campaign is not just targeted at the victims, even at airports, at passport offices. I had the opportunity of working in Lagos. Part of the things we do is to sensitize the applicants when they are at the passport offices, because sometimes they don't even know anything. Somebody will just bring them. You can't have passports given to you in proxy, so you have to appear. So we saw that as a platform to sensitize the officials, the passport of the NIS officials, and also the applicants. So at that point, we have so many people coming to tell us when we are talking that this is of a truth. These are some of the methods these people are using. So not just at the passport offices, we've had even the tour operators, airline agencies, the travel agencies, airline operators, their staff, the FAN, the aviation security, enlightened on these tricks that are employed on a daily basis, because once they discover, oh, this trick is becoming popular, they change it. So you find so many things going on, and so NAPTIP is not resting on us. So we go all out to enlighten everyone that is involved in this space.
Okay, ma. It is interesting and also is disheartening when you paint the picture you've painted, the extent, the magnitude of the destruction that these traffickers are, bringing on individuals in Nigeria, unsuspecting citizens, is terrible, and is something that all of us must join the fight to make sure that we are not enslaved. I mean, modern slavery in this time. Well, let me bring in Angela Omoro David, project manager, Human Angle Media, to also talk about another issue that we raised during our introduction about freedom of information, a platform created by your organization, the Human Angle Media. Help us understand, tell us more about the freedom of information FOI platform created by your organization and what it intends to achieve.
All right. Thank you so much again for having me. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, ma'am, also for the amazing work that NAPTIP is doing. And of course, we're very proud of the way we've been able to contribute to that in this way. Because talking about the FOI, that's the Freedom of Information platform that we've created, it is based on the law, the FOI Act that was passed into law in 2011. So first and foremost, that law, what it does is it empowers citizens to be able to request for public records from different government parastatals, agencies, MDAs, basically. And so what we've done is, or what we've realized over time, is that a lot of times citizens are probably not even aware that they have this right, or even if they are, the process of how to go about it is always shrouded in a lot of mystery. Sometimes there are letters that you would have to write, and then maybe you've not addressed the right person, and then in the end, when you take it to the parastatal, it's probably rejected. So what we have is a website where people can then submit their FOI request to us directly, and then we submit it on their behalf to the particular agency. So think of us as middlemen, so to speak, connecting these government parastatals to the citizens.
And from where you stand, you think this will make difference from what we have from people going directly to FOI platform to ministries to apply? You think that this will go a long way in bridging the gap?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So the truth of the matter is, already we're trying to do a lot of sensitization efforts and awareness, leveraging awareness platforms like this. So first of all, what we're doing is we're trying to democratize the process, basically, because a lot of times people do not even know, or they don't know how to do it. So since our website has gone live, we've actually received a number of requests so far. So what we do is we then submit it on behalf of those particular people. So we are seeing people submitting requests, and through this platforms like radio interviews and of course social media that we've been leveraging, more people are aware of such platforms, and then they're more willing to take advantage of it. So there's a difference being made.
Interesting.
So do you help them to write the requests?
Fantastic question. Thank you so much for asking me that, Adobe. So what we do, we have on the website is a template. There's a template that they can actually download so that you can follow it as a guideline for the request that you're writing. And then internally we also do a verification, because as you're submitting your request, you're submitting your name, your email address. So we have a way of contacting you if there's anything in your request that is probably not clear that we need you to expatiate on.
All right, we will come back to you for more on this, at least to give out the platform, the address where people can go and how they can reach you. And when we we'll come back and do that. But first, we'll have to open up the phone line and also get back to discussing the scourge of human trafficking in Nigeria. But it's time for us to get our listeners involved. Please follow us on our social media platforms at Official Primorg. Primorg is spelled Primorg. Remember that we are streaming live on Facebook at Official Primorg.
And remember that this program is interactive. The WhatsApp phone line to send your message to is 0902-265-6167. And for those watching us via Facebook at Official Primorg, we encourage you to drop a few lines and we will take them. Would like to have you contribute to the conversation. How can Nigeria as a country stop this barbaric act? Do you know anyone who is a victim, or are you a victim? What were the conditions given to you? We would like to hear from you so that the person also listening would also learn.
And while we wait for those calls to start coming in, let's get back to Mrs. Kehinde Akomolafe, Director of Public Enlightenment, NAPTIP. Thank you, ma'am. So I was going to get back to the issue about Egypt, the traffic in Egypt, particularly with the report we are looking at. It seems NAPTIP is already aware of it and working on it. But I think we are not yet, it is not yet Uhuru. We don't really have everybody trafficked, according to this report, out or back to Nigeria. What more are you doing to ensure that these people are freed from this modern slavery?
Let me say that the fight against human trafficking, it's not an easy one. Coming from even the clandestine nature of human trafficking, you'll know it's difficult to win this war. Traffickers most times are very, very nice to the victims in order to get them. They are also not, it's not like if you have a drug that is being carried by a passenger on a flight, that drug will serve as an evidence. While for human trafficking, the human being is actually the evidence. So you don't find traffickers most times as strangers. They are people whom the victims know very well, or who are somehow related to them. They are familials. So this one makes it difficult. We've had cases where husbands actually traffic their wives, or parents trafficking their children. So
To what end?
Knowingly or unknowingly?
Knowingly, because for them, it's just an end to a means, or a means to an end. They need to survive, and they are looking at their children as a means to getting what they need. When I say knowingly, like we explained that time, deception comes into play. The parents don't even know what their children will be subjected to. They just feel, oh, there's an opportunity to travel abroad. So why not? I was watching a social media clip or a skit. Someone was given the opportunity, if I give you 500,000 naira and I give you $20. She opted for $20 because for her, $1 is $1. Not minding that if you convert it,
The conversion rate.
it's still nothing compared to $500,000. So you see people preying on ignorance of these victims. These are people who don't know. You go to a village or to someone that is poor, where vulnerability comes in. A widow who has 6 children and needs to feed these children or take care of them would do anything to have her children taken care of. So they would willingly surrender their children to you. So that's what we see happening around us. So
Let's
it's
take
not
this.
even, NAPTIP is doing a lot.
Please go ahead, man.
Okay, so if you have so many of them that are locked up, so what NAPTIP has done, we have a unit that is the International Intelligence Cooperation Unit that works directly with all the embassies that are related to us, you know, where you have such cases coming from. Apart from that, we have the international organization, like IOM was mentioned by Mr. Kabiru the other time. We have IOM, we have even some other agencies that are working to support, even international non-governmental organizations that are working with us to assist in rescue and repatriation of victims that are there. So it's actually not an easy thing to get people coming out. They will tell you, oh, this is my uncle, this is my husband, this is my brother. We are just traveling. How do you prove that this person was actually being trafficked? And that's why we make it known to them at the exit and entry points, maybe at the airport or even at the passport office, to talk if these are the methods that you have been exposed to. So, then you'll know that these are traffickers.
So summarily, we can say, can we say NAPTIP is winning this war?
I can tell you NAPTIP is winning the war.
Recently, we saw a viral video of Nigerians, young girls who were trafficked to Ghana, and amazingly, some of them are back to Nigeria. And Nigerians or the agency got to know this because of the video that went viral. So what more can Nigerians do when you are, maybe the person listening to me now just came back to Nigeria, you live abroad, and you see a situation like this? What more can they do? How will they reach out to you?
Yes, we have a very robust reporting channel. We have a call center that picks calls anytime, morning, afternoon, night. And if you call in 627, you get to NAPTIP.
Then toll free.
It's toll free. It's a hotline. You can also call 070 30,000. That is 070 30,000 4 zeros, then 203, or call NAPTIP. So this call center operates for rescue, immediate rescue of victims. So if, for instance, the person is calling outside Abuja, it doesn't matter. We have our offices in 33 states. We have state task forces, so they can call, and those ones we can say, okay, we refer or call someone in those places to immediately swing into action.
How is corruption getting in the way of you fighting trafficking in persons?
Well, corruption is endemic everywhere. So it's not actually limited to Nigeria alone. And that's why it's easy for this crime to be perpetrated across countries. So you find law enforcement officials actually aiding and abetting these traffickers. Some of them know these traffickers from their operations, either at the entry or exit points. They give them something, or they become so familiar with them and they are just allowed exit. So apart from the bribery aspect, you also have tolerance. When I mean tolerance, like, okay, just turning the other eye to what is happening. And that's why for us in the agency, we are not resting. Our DG, Professor Fatima Waziri-Azi, PhD, is fighting on all sides human trafficking. So part of her mantra when she came in is prosecution of high-profile cases. So where law enforcement officials are found complicit, she does not take it lying low. She does not compromise her anti-corruption stance. So she's all out. Even as staff, she would not take issues where staff members are complicit in any way. We also find out that weak legislation subtly would aid trafficking. So that's why from time to time, NAPTIP seeks to amend our acts. As long as the style, the trend, everything is changing, we run and get this amendment done. So from 2003, when the law was actually assented to and it became operational, we've had our law even repealed in 2015. So we had 2005, it was amended in 2005 from 2003, and then 2015 we have a new law. So it's also in the process of being amended again because things are happening.
What are you seeking to get from any new amendments?
Well, I may not be able to tell you details, but one of the things is to make sure the penalties are stiff, very stiff, for traffickers not to avoid the sentences, and also maybe put more eye on the financial aspect of human trafficking, because once you touch someone's property or money, I'm sure you touch them. So maybe it's also to be able to get access to some of their proceeds from human trafficking. So once they know that, oh, this is what is happening, they will be able, it will serve as deterrence to them.
I'd like you to call. Let's have your take on this conversation on human trafficking. Have you ever been a victim? Do you know anyone who is a victim? Or what advice do you have for NAPTIP? We have them here in the studio. We have the Director of Public Enlightenment. Talk to us. Are there issues you have? Are there concerns you would like to share? Let's hear from you. But let's get back to Angela Omoro David, who is a project manager at Human Angle Media. Talking about the FOI platform, is there a feedback mechanism for those who have used the platform? Is there a way you can reach them to give them updates on their requests?
Oh yes, absolutely. So as I mentioned earlier, the people who submit their request, we also get their contact information. So once their request has gone through or we've gotten a response, we can notify them. Although I should also add that the website is pretty transparent. It's like an open data system, because what happens is once you go on that website, you can see all the requests that have ever been submitted so far by anybody, not just the requests that you submit. So you can see it, and then you can also track the progress. So you can see if it is processing, you can see if it has been responded to or if it has not been responded to. And unfortunately, in the fashion of the way a lot of our agencies operate, a lot of the requests have not gotten responses yet. But for us, this is also a part of data gathering on which agencies are most responsive, which ones should we hold, like tighten the muzzle on to make sure that they are more accountable. So yes.
So how can someone file an application or apply for or request through your platform?
Okay, so all you have to do is just go to the website foi.humananglemedia.com. So FOI humananglemedia.com. So once you do that, everything is it's actually pretty intuitive. So you just click on send requests, you see the form, we collect your details, your contact details, and then you also can download the template. Once you're done with it, upload it back on the website, and then we'll be in touch with you.
We know that some agencies may not want to respond to FOI requests.
Yes.
This is not the first time we've had that. Agencies don't respond to requests. So when they don't respond, what do you do next?
Okay, so another thing that we're, thank God for platforms like this, sometimes it's very important to also name and shame. Let me put it that way. So to be able to call them out that, oh, we have a compilation over this duration of time, because the law also says how long you have to within which an agency must respond. So what we intend to do is to actually compile the ones that have responded, the ones that have not responded over time, and to actually put out that information for other people to know. And then we also see ourselves partnering with other agencies whose work they might want to go the route of the judicial system. We intend to partner with such organizations to see how we can get some form of recourse through the law.
Okay, let me get you react to this report on human trafficking.
Yes.
Let's have your reaction.
Okay, so the beauty of the work that we're doing at Human Angle is that we are very intertwined. And let me explain what I mean by that. So that report was actually made by Human Angle Media. And then I work with the Human Angle Foundation. So what we do a lot of times is where the media stops, we take it up. Like we push it forward, we do the advocacy work, we do the research as well, and we're always the ones trying to engage with the public. So for us, it's actually very fulfilling to be able to see that through the advocacy we have done, we've been able to reach out to NAPTIP and to be able to also get some form of action. Because a lot of times, as maybe journalists, now speaking on behalf of Human Angle Media, a lot of times it gets very frustrating that you go in there, do the work, do the investigation, and then in the end, nobody bats an eye. But it's really refreshing that in some way we've been able to poke the bear and the bear has responded. So thank you, Naptip.
All right, let's get back to Mrs. Kehinde Akomolafe, the director, Public Enlightenment, NAPTIP. Thank you for being with us. And we've been looking at the whole issue. Your job is cut out and it's massive. And I've been wondering, how much collaboration are you doing? How much partnership do you have with civil society organizations and different organizations to ensure that these messages get to people, looking at the extent or the magnitude of problem we have at hand?
Thank you once again. Happy it's a task that is huge. It's massive and actually involves a whole lot of financial commitment. So we realize that, and that's why as an agency, the DG has also made it part of her drive to get support from partners across board. So we're looking at partners as either state or non-state actors. Also, we're looking at partnership with the organized private sectors too. We have partnership with international development partners because we cannot do it alone. Like I was explaining, if we needed to reach someone that is in slavery or slave-like condition in Egypt, as in this case, NAPTIP is not in Egypt. So we rely on partnership to be able to assist such people. And that's why IOM would come into place. We also have some faith-based organizations that partner with us because there are different ways of fighting this war. It's not just in terms of money. You can use technical support. Where a law enforcement officer is there, we can have joint operations in order to rescue the victims. So that's one. Talking of partnership, even policy. The National Action Plan 2022 to 2026 was actually presented to the Federal Executive Council and it was approved. So this National Action Plan sets the pace and the tone for achievement of our goals and the objectives of the agency. So these are what we leverage on in order to achieve the mandates of the agency. So we look at also getting the judiciary to come in to support us. It can be frustrating when a case goes on for years and it's still not getting near to the end. The victims are frustrated, the officers are frustrated, the lawyers are frustrated, and even you lose the essence of the matter. So the essence is that we get everyone on board to know that for us to win this war, we need you.
All hands must be on them.
Thank
They
you.
say justice delayed.
It's justice
Is
denied.
justice denied. And I was going to ask you if you have the numbers of people who are behind bars. Your numbers, at least for 2023,
Yes.
people
Yes,
that
we
2024.
In fact, from inception, I can tell you what we've had. We have 672 from inception. 2023, we
convicted.
Yes, we have 67 2023, and so far this year we have 35 convictions this year.
Let's hope that the
The number will keep increasing.
It will definitely increase.
We want people to be deterred from going into this, and that brings me to the next question, which is what you can tell Nigerians out there who are unsuspecting. What should they know about? What must they know about human trafficking? The telltale signs, because you say it can happen without you knowing,
Yes.
but you get there and
husband
you
may
know.
just be the one
So,
who would willingly-
what should a Nigerian, an innocent Nigerian out there, know about
Thank you.
trafficking?
One is the fact that when it looks too good, an offer, let your alarm start ringing. For instance, someone meets you and says, I want to help you. You'll be earning $5,000 per month. That is mind-boggling. So, but you find out that greed actually contributes to this. So many years ago, my sister, that's my blood relation, came to me to say someone wants to take her somewhere. So she was telling me, I said, and you know where I work. That sign, have you asked the person if he has brothers or sisters?
Why did he not help?
Why
his
didn't
siblings?
he help the same person? You understand? That's my first question to her. And she said, that's true. He has brothers, he has sisters. Why is he not taking them? But most people do not bother to think. They just jump at it because of greed. So you find that playing a very important role in this trafficking business. Then secondly is the fact that you need to cross-check and cross-check and cross-check. Whatever offer, they could tell you there's a school opportunity or education opportunity in US, in Iraq, in Iran, in Ukraine. Why don't you check the school? Check the fees, because if they it's sponsored, is this, is that, you don't need to pay any money. That looks too good.
Okay, so Nigerians should dot their I's and cross
Cross
their
the T's.
T's.
When it is
When
too
Raise
good
questions.
to be
When
true.
it
Look
is
beneath the line. Just read in between the lines, ask questions. And when
No.
you see something, you say something.
There's no free lunch out there.
At all.
Absolutely.
Angela, let's have your last take as we begin to wrap up.
Okay, so for me, final comment is simply that I'm encouraging more people to take advantage of this opportunity. We cannot hold government agencies accountable if we do not even know what they are doing in the first place. So this is the way to be able to understand the projects that they're working on, the expenditure, their processes, policies. Please, let's take advantage of it. I know that a lot of times Nigerians get disillusioned that they will not answer, they will not. We never know. You actually never know until you try. So please, let's take advantage of it. Again, it is foi.humananglemedia.com. Thank you again.
The zero
Alright.
really must go.
We really must go. It's been a robust one here, but very important national issue that we've discussed. Please visit our news website, primognews.org. That is primognews.org for all the details of our reports and interviews. Visit our website, www.primog.org, to get all information about Primog.
And you can watch our videos on Primog TV, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to get reminders when we have a new post. We sincerely appreciate our guests, the team from Human Angle Media, the editor, Southern Operations, Kabiru Adejomo, who joined us via the phone from Lagos, and the project manager, Angela Umoru David. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having
And
me.
our sincere appreciation goes to Mrs. Kaide, Akomolafi, Director of Public Enlightenment from the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. Thank you for being here, ma'am.
I appreciate you.
And for all those who joined us, who listened keenly, I hope you got the message. The number again to call us, the toll-free line from NAPTIP is 070 30,000 203. And we sincerely appreciate the MacArthur Foundation for their support in the production of this program. They are committed to a more just, verdant, and peaceful world. Get more information about the foundation on its website, macfound.org.
Join us again here next week for another episode of Public Conscience. And remember to follow us on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, at Official Primorg. I am Chidozie Obunnaya.
Remember that birth registration and certificates are free if your child is under 18. Help stop the corruption in birth registration and do not pay for birth certificates. Also remember that you can give us information or hint about corrupt acts through our phone at 0902 265 6167 or info@primorg.org. I am Adelbi Obiabumo. Thank you for listening.